crazy new revolutionary DeepSeek paper that's gonna definitely change how large language models are trained. It actually all started from this paper, Hyperconnections by ByteDance in 2025, and I'm gonna explain this paper and DeepSeek's modification and improvement on top of that. So originally, this is how residual connections work. So in a transformer or any other model, you have some input, let's say some token embedding, and then you pass it through layer attention or feed forward. But you also just directly pass this token embedding and then add to the output of this layer without changing it. So it's like a split. So this part is processing the token, adding more information, processing information, reasoning, thinking. And this part that's not processing anything is to retain important information, because this one will definitely change information, but maybe some of the information we want to retain. We don't want to change everything. So here they are added. So we have both new processed information and the residual, the original information. Now we get hyperconnections and DeepSeek's improvement to hyperconnections. So because these two graphs are very similar, I will just explain it on this DeepSeek's graph. So look, this unprocessed path is replaced with this path where it's not, anything is not processed, nothing is processed. And this layer path that has attention, feed forward or whatever is replaced with this part. Now this is the idea. You see that we have this token embedding, but we have it multiplied 4 times. So the idea is actually that if we just multiply, or let's say copy token embedding multiple times, and each of them are gonna be a bit different vectors based on this token, the idea is that each of the vectors will have a bit different information based on this token, because they all originate from the same token. But instead of holding information for the token just in one token vector, we will hold it in a few different vectors. So maybe one token is processing, like let's say, information about grammar, about language, about context, etc. But the main idea here is that just before this computationally expensive attention mechanism or feed forward, we will condense this whole token into a single token. And then we will process a single token, because processing 4 tokens would be too expensive for attention mechanism. We just need to process a single token. Once we process, then we expand back into 4 to keep more information. So the idea of hyperconnections is that we can just keep more information, more memory, more information about the tokens, but when we need to process, we will condense it down into one token, merge, so we can use less computation, and it works well. And so 99% of the time, each of the tokens will have like multiple vectors, not just one. And I don't know if it's 99%, but most of the time. And then just when we process with attention or feed forward, it will go to one token. All of the information will be combined to one token, so it's faster. And then we go back. I think this is a really good idea, and I'm gonna experiment and implement it. So we have our own large language model. You can also help us. We have some pull requests. We have contributors. We are speed running the model pre-training, making GPT-1, GPT-2, etc. We wanna turn this into a real AI research lab like OpenAI and other labs. Usually you would convert 4 vectors into a single vector, usually by multiplying each of the vectors with some number, and then adding them is like a weighted sum. But I'm gonna talk more about that now. Check out my school to become AI researcher, link below. Let's see how these hyperconnections work. Let's say we have some conversations in a large language model. So you have a batch, so multiple conversations. Each conversation is a sequence of tokens. Each token has a hidden dimension, so it's like a token dimension, like 4,000 numbers, let's say. Let's say here we just have one conversation, and inside just one token, this is the beginning of the sentence, just one token. It has this dimension, let's say. Then it would copy that token, let's say 4 times. So now we just add an extra dimension. So instead of batch sequence token length, now you have batch sequence 4, So this is just copied, like now there is 4 copies of this token. It's like 4 different mappings. So remember that originally you just have one token here. It's getting passed, but here we have the same token 4 times. And then we're gonna process this. Now imagine there are 3 separate streams of data, and each stream initially contains same tokens, same conversations. In our case, just single token for simplicity reasons. And they begin same, but they're gonna be processed differently. Here we see on the image, the green one is the DeepSeek's improvement, but it looks pretty similar to the previous one. Let's look at the DeepSeek's one. So you see that from our 4 copies, there are 2 arrows. And you can see here that actually there is just 1 token here, not 4 anymore. And there are 4 copies here. This collapse is a weighted sum. So there is a vector, for example, 0.9, 0.10, 0.5. And each of these tokens gets multiplied with one of these coefficients and then gets added all together. So imagine each of these is going to contribute this percentage. Like, actually it's not a percentage, it will just be multiplied with one of these values and then get added. So these values determine how much of each of them is added, how much influence they have in the final vector here. That's this pre-mapping. So imagine that the formula is this. Each of the vectors, our 4 vectors, is multiplied with some number and then added. And then that gets passed through this layer F, which can be feed forward or attention or whatever this processing is. Now imagine this will just be like a single token being processed through the layer. The way this single vector gets converted into 4 is there's gonna be a vector of 4 numbers. Each number will multiply this single vector, and the results will be one of those 4 vectors. So let's say first time it gets multiplied 0.5, that's the first vector, then 1.5, 0.5, etc. That's how we get 4 different vectors, and it's scaling this vector into 4 different vectors. And I say scaling because it's just multiplying with a single number the entire vector. So now this age post, it's gonna be 4 vectors. In this case, it's represented as a matrix. So you can represent it 4 vectors or matrix. And so this part is the standard processing of the. So this part is just replacing this standard like feed forward or attention. That's what I just explained. And now we will explain this other path that goes straight up. This is replacing the old residual one-to-one mapping, the residual connection. But before we go on to that other path, I want to say that each of these 4 vectors in our example has some unique data. For example, data, long context data, or data about some math, or some other information in a processing. Each is describing a different part of information and holding different information. So this other path is for managing the current information and passing necessary information without processing or transforming it like this layer does here. Now, instead of these 4 vectors, let's imagine we have 2 vectors just for simplicity. So let's say we have 100, 100 and 0, 0. And so 100, 100 usually represents a strong signal because when you have big numbers mean like strong signal, it influences the result a lot. And 0, 0 is like empty. So we have these 2 vectors here, let's say. And then we will use this matrix age res to leak vectors into each other, to combine them a bit. But DeepSeek's innovation is that this age matrix that combines them must have some constraints, so it doesn't explode the numbers. For example, rows must sum up to 1, columns must sum up to 1, and positive numbers only. This is a good example of age matrix that combines these vectors, so rows sum up to 1, columns sum up to 1, and all numbers are positive. And this would be invalid matrix that would be valid previously, but DeepSeek found that if we don't have these constraints, it's gonna destabilize the training and make it harder and not work as often. The goal here is to calculate the new streams or the new vectors here. So starting from 4, calculate 4 new vectors, or in our example, we start from 2 and calculate the 2 new vectors, new streams. So the first row of our matrix, it's gonna say for the new first vector, that we are creating, you're gonna take 90% of the old first vector and 10% of the old second vector. So 90% of this, 10% of this, add to create the new first vector. And second row will show the new second vector. So 10% this, 90% this, add, and create the new second vector. So that's how we create it. So in this case, we go 90% times 100. 100 is 90. And here, so the new vector is 90. And the new second vector, it's gonna be 10% of the first, so 10, and 0, so 10 when we add these two vectors. So these are the now new vectors. So most of the time, you will actually for every token have multiple vectors, and you will just hold data on multiple vectors. And just when you need to process through these heavy layers like attention and feed forward, it will be collapsed to a single vector. So this computation can be done faster with no too much overhead. But other than that, there will be multiple vectors carrying information. Each will carry like different types of information. And so imagine that this kind of decouples memory and compute. DeepSeek researcher thinks that this is a very good invention last year in 2025, this and muon optimizer. So it was one of the authors of this paper who said that this is a very good invention.